making a round through the first half of the apiary, just preparing for the potential pull on Monday. Just looking at the staging of things, and I'm going through and I'm noticing not quite the work been done through this first half as I anticipated. I'm trying to figure out, like, they haven't advanced as I expected they would have, and I'm looking, these hives I've almost like they've stalled. I'm trying to figure out why that is, and I think what it is these guys maybe stalled, maybe pulled back just a little bit. I'm down in the flats here. They kind of missed the rains as they come through this last week. I've been spending a lot of my time this last week up on the hill where we had received the rain, and it's a difference of an inch, a rain that fell on the hill as compared to the flats, according to my neighbors. So I think what I'm seeing here is these yards down in the flats here missed the rain. The flowers have slowed down a little bit. These bees haven't had the opportunity to bring in as much nectar as what I've been seeing up on the hill. So it's kind of throwing my whole plans on its head. I've staged the flats here to start the pull, and I staged everything up on the hill because the crop's a bit later up there too, to carry on the pull. And if I were to do it again, I think I'd flip things around, because these guys are just a little bit staged, just a little bit behind now. And I can't change my plans just by the way we've put boxes out. So what we're doing today is we're going through, and we might have to delay the pull by maybe a week. A week's a long time. Instead of Monday, maybe we'll go Thursday, Friday. They are carrying the honey in here. It's just, they're not as full as I want them to be. I don't like pulling partial full boxes. So we're going to just give them a little more time. We're going through and we're just pulling back some of the boxes that aren't being used as readily. So we're kind of pulling back, and we're going to go through the rest of the apiary and be a little more generous, as our plan is to delay the start of the pull by at least 3 or 4 or 5 days. So that means we have to be a little more generous on some of those hives up on the hills, especially because the flow is really heavy up on top there. So just, we're constantly on our heels. We're trying to read what's going on within the area and the environment, trying to predict and manage accordingly. And then just little things like that, just a little bit of rain difference between, it's only 6 miles. So it's called that thunderstorm lottery. Wherever that rain drops this time of year pretty much reflects exactly what happens in the crops, and thus in my hives. Full frame of honey. It's looking a little wet. I'm not sure if that shows on the video, but there's a bit of a shine to it. I'll see if I'm right about that. So that is 19%. Thinking maybe that I might overboxed these front end hives, just because maybe I gave them a little bit too much work to do right off the start. But I'm going through and that's not the case. These hives are staged perfectly, even though the nectar flow slowed a little bit. They're working right across there. And what I'm looking for is I'm trying to bring the whole yard, I'm trying to bring the whole section within the apiary, like the first 500 hives. I'm trying to bring everything together on timing. So I don't want to, focus on individual hives as we go through. I want to be able to come through and just with one big sweep pull honey and have it all ready and all cured all at the same time. So that's why we stage these hives different heights all the time, because some hives are a little more advanced than others, and with just the amount of nectar coming in and their ability to dry it down, you have to give them varying space requirements. Like these ones here, these two are a little smaller, working away. These ones here are a little bit bigger, working away. And this one here is one box bigger, working away, all at the same stage, right? So those 3 colonies, that's 2 boxes, that's 3 boxes, this is 4 boxes. They're all working those boxes at exactly the same stage for the amount of nectar coming in, for their ability to dry them down. So when that point in time comes when the honey within these colonies come dry, they come dry in that one and that one and that one all at the same time, so we can come through and just swipe everything off the colonies all at once. So we just have to kind of read what's going on within the colonies and try to read what's going on within the yard and then within that section of apiary to bring everything together all at once, just to try to stage things. It's what I call staging. And sometimes I get it wrong. Sometimes I give too much space. Well, these guys are right full, so I've staged them correctly. But you know, sometimes I get them wrong. I'll come through and we'll start pulling empty boxes. Something happened there, maybe a swarm, I don't know. Sometimes I'll misassess and they'll be absolutely plugged. So I kind of, you waste a little bit of honey by leaving it in the field that way. And you want to kind of, you don't want to fuss too much about it, because we come to a yard one week, come to the yard the next week, and they look a lot different sometimes. So you just have to give your best guess and hand out the box resource. Just your best judgment, right? And just my continued focus on trying not to waste space, because my limitation here is box inventory, and I have to be able to use it smartly just to get a good rate of return on the investment I have in my equipment. Shine, not as shiny. Still 19.5%. Closer we get to the escarpment, aka the hills, the more honey is in these boxes, the less boxes we're actually pulling back. So we started further away on the flats, closer to Miami, pulling boxes away. We have probably 15 or 20 boxes there we pulled back. And now we're actually, as we get closer to the hills, we're needing to add space. So that's telling me we're getting closer to the rains as they come through. And these girls have that nectar coming in. The honey within the hive isn't quite cured yet. Just have to give them a little more time, take it off that 19.5, get it down below 19. You know, I wanted it close to that 18. Not going to leave them too much time, because it won't take much time at all once that honey starts coming in dry. So just got to be a little patient.